Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Taylor Hierro, and on today's episode, we're going to be talking about how much money you can actually make in the foreign exchange market, aka the Forex market. This is the world's largest financial market, and there are so many participants, including some of the top financial institutions like JP Chase, Wells Fargo, Citibank, etc. Question that I get being in someone who is investing into this market and who has really learned the skill set and continues to learn, I get a lot of questions like, okay, well, if I do it, how much money am I going to make? I can't really tell you. I'm not going to be trading your account for you. There's a lot of things to take into consideration when it comes to investing, including your own beliefs and habits and how you work with money, your relationship with money. So we're gonna get into the variables and how much money you can actually make, what is reasonable or logical, and how to actually go about this so that you can have a really good plan and know what to expect when it comes to your trading journey. Guys, share your experience with me in the comments, how it's been. Maybe not necessarily income claims, how much you've made, but tell me a little bit about your experience in trading and what you wish you knew and how much you thought you could make compared to what you actually did. Let's talk about it in the comments. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and let's get into how much money you can make in the Forex market. So the first thing to consider, and I have a little list here, so don't mind me. The first thing to consider is your account balance. How much are you actually willing to start out with investing? So depending on how you invest to the Forex market, there are different strategies. We'll get into that here in a second, but your account balance, what are you willing to start with, aka to invest? It's not going to be like stock trading where you're putting a share. It's none of that. It's that you are placing your trade. There's an account balance that you start with, and you can margin trade throughout the day. You can day trade. There's different strategies, but your account balance is really going to determine your leverage, how much you're risking. So the more money that you have, the more money that you have to risk, and also the more money that you have to gain. So that's something that you definitely want to consider, is how much am I willing to start with? I personally started my very first account with $1,000. You can start with as little as $10. However, it's going to take a little bit more time to actually compound that and still practice risk management. So personally, when I get people started trading and I'm teaching them how to actually get started with a broker, I would suggest anywhere between like $250 and $500 to get started. And the more the merrier, the more that you have to actually work with. The next thing that you want to consider is the lot size that you're using. And your lot size is what you're placing when you place an order, and how much you're actually investing, and it's going to determine how much you're risking. It determines a lot, that lot size. There are different ways to determine your lot size. There's a micro, a macro, there's also a standard lot size. And if you don't know those words, well, we're not gonna get too much into that today. If you have any questions on how you can actually get educated on what all these terms are, please feel free to reach out to me. I do offer resources in financial literacy and how you can get educated in participating in this market. But it's going to depend, what you make is going to depend a lot on the lot size that you're using. So be sure that you are using the correct lot size. There are calculators out there that you can download in the Apple App Store, which I use. One of them being Stinu, that's STINU. That is an app that I have loved, and it helps me to really pick out the lot size according to my account balance so that I don't over leverage or blow my account, and I know how much I'm going to gain. The next thing to consider is the strategy that you're using. So two of my favorite ways to trade is one through just regular Forex margin trading, placing orders, market executing, and then there's also high frequency, which is totally based off of time. So I could put in a call or a put, a buy or a sell, and depending on where price closes after a certain time expiration is going to determine whether or not I lose, how much I'm going to be paid out, and different pairs, because this is the foreign exchange market. So foreign exchange being foreign exchange currency, different pairs like the Great British Pound, the US dollar, the pairs, okay, because when you trade, you're trading the value in the two pairs. They could be having different payouts in that specific strategy, high frequency, aka binary options. So it really kind of depends on the strategy that you're using too, going into the actual risk management that you're using. And I feel like you definitely have to develop education. Your education and understanding will actually have a lot to do with how much you can actually make in the market. Now, there are people who come in here and get lucky and they gamble and they're not really sure what they're doing, and they might make some money, but to truly not understand what you're doing, how long can you sustain and maintain the wealth that you tap into when you're trading within this market? So your education has a lot to do with how much money you can potentially make and lose. Your lack of education can lead to a lot more losses than gains. It's super important to educate yourself on risk management, how to minimize your risk, and how to maximize your reward. So your education has so much to do with how you're going to make money, how much you're going to make. And if you guys, like I said, have any questions on how you can actually advance your education in this market, please feel free to reach out to me on social media or in the comments. Also, the schedule that you trade and the frequency. So how often you're taking trades and on what days, what volatile times, that will have something to do with how much money you can make. So as you guys can see, there's so many things to take into consideration. It's not that you just come in here and make money and it's like Chuck E. Cheese, it's like a casino. There's a way of going about it. There's a specific way that you go about investing, right? And you just want to have the right education. You want to take into consideration a lot of variables and how much you're going to be making when you do participate in this market. Also, the last thing that I'm going to touch on is just make sure that as you're doing this, as you're determining how much can I make, ask yourself, how much do I want to make? Give yourself a goal and track your progress. Let there be an end goal in mind. A lot of people come into trading and they're just asking, well, how much can I make? And then they make $10 or they make $1,000 or $10,000. There's really no limit to what you can make, but you guys kind of have to have an image in mind of how much you want to make. Imagine going to a job and them just asking you, hey, how much do you want to make hourly? And then you setting the standard, and they kind of give you expectations. Well, okay, if that's how much you want to get paid an hour, these are going to be your expectations, right? It's the same thing with trading. How much do you want to make? If you want to be making $100,000 a month, your standards need to be in alignment. Your habits, your behaviors, how you are actually putting yourself in this market, right? Your habits have to be in alignment with the amount of money you want to be working with, especially when it comes to investing. This is a skill set. It's not just a game. So go about it in a very informative way and just be educated about what it is that you're truly doing. Track your progress. The last thing I'm going to touch on with how much money you can make, there's just so many opportunities with getting started in investing. You can do long-term portfolios, you can do long-term holds in cryptocurrencies. Guys, there's really no telling how much you can actually make. But one thing that I came across is a third party company that is actually willing to give you money so long as you prove that you have the requirements, you meet the requirements of a sufficient and profitable trader. They will actually go ahead and give you money to capitalize with. They will grant you an account that ranges from either $10,000 to $200,000. I believe the next one is $300,000, but you can actually be funded, right? You can be funded just for having the skill set. You don't necessarily have to have the capital yourself to tap into. You can actually just reach out to one of these and maybe pass their challenge, pass their criteria, and prove that you're capable of trading and you're capable of compounding. And then from there, that's another way that will determine how much money you can make. There's just so much opportunity. So when you're taking this into consideration, please just be aware of the variables, what you're willing to invest, what time you're trading, what market you're trading, how often are you trading. Just be very mindful of the different variables in how you're actually going to be making money in this market. How much do you want to make is the real question. And that's the beauty of investing. How much do you want to make? Set that goal and then let that be what is steering you forward. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please feel free to share your trading experience with me, how much you've made or how much you've lost. Share your experience with me in the comments. With that being said, I will see you guys on the next episode. Thank you again for tuning in.